Stay tuned to the end for a little bonus C10 footage. Welcome back to another episode of My Legacy Garage. Previously, we've diagnosed the Modine heater, but today we're going to do a quick review and then we're going to actually fix it. Because I actually ordered the parts so that, it's more safer. Sure. Here's the two parts we're putting in it today. Fan timer and the overheat control. Basically, this is the brains of the operation. It's what controls when the fan comes on, if the heater runs at all. If you're not really sure what I'm talking about, go take a look at the last video and we go through the wiring. It's pretty enlightening, if I must say. The very first thing you want to do, turn the power off, because these 110 lines, they'll bite you. 24 volt, meh, you're fine. 110, that's a different story. Then you got to dig all these wires out of here, because the fan switch, it's buried in there. They make it really easy to get to. So let me get you up here and I'll show you what we're digging into, and then we'll go ahead and get it all tore apart. That sounds like a good plan. Inside here, under all these wires, is that fan switch. And it screws right to the back of the heater, and this thing really, it controls a lot. Once I get it unscrewed here and pulled out, we'll kind of take a look at the wiring and see where everything goes. Now when you first look at this, it might be a little scary looking, but it's really not that hard. You have this power wire right here that feeds power to this side of the switch, and then it just jumps around and feeds power to this one, and that's spot 1 and 2. This is a ground, and this is your 24 volts. So when you call for power, it sends 24 volts through this bottom part, and that starts to heat things up. Now once enough time has passed, it goes ahead and it closes the switch and lets this power go from 2 to 4, and this powers your inducer motor. And then after enough time has passes, it lets power go from 1 to 3, and that powers your main blower motor. So if you're getting a delay in those things happening, chances are this is your problem. We have gotten the new fan delay timer in here. It's nice and shiny. Now the one end of it here just kind of clips in the bottom, and then it has a screw that goes in the top side up here, up in this control box here. So I'm going to go ahead and get that put in, and then we'll move on to the next part. Next up is this high limit switch right here. Now this thing's purpose in life, it's got 2 wires that come up here to it, and this is just part of the limit circuit, which is part of the 24 volt circuit. So power comes in on one, goes back on the other one, originates from the transformer, goes through the limits, the thermostat, and eventually ends up over at the ignition module, which then kickstarts the gas control and fires everything up. So if this, which is normally closed, opens and breaks the circuit, you get no ignition. Now the purpose of this is on the back side of it, it goes through and it's just a little bimetal thermal disc in there, and if it gets too hot, it opens that circuit and shuts the heater down. Idea being, if say the blower is broken or something along those lines and it doesn't come on, it keeps the heater from overheating and catching on fire and burning the building down. So, that's a good thing. There it is, all screwed in. Let's hook the wires up, turn the power on, and give her a try, see what happens. Incidentally, there is a side panel that goes on this thing, and I have it around here somewhere. It's not hard, I'm sure you can handle it. The power's turned back on. We're going to go ahead and crank the thermostat up. There's your inducer motor. That's the first thing that comes on. You hear the light, it ignites, lights the burner. Then it starts to heat up. Now at the same time it's heating that little fan delay switch up, and then the big blower is going to come on. And there it is. Bright as rain. Oh, I love it. This heater, it's 145,000 BTUs. Garage, well, it's 24 by 44. I'm going to tell you what, there's no insulation in here, and it'll heat this garage up to 70 in 10 minutes maybe. It's about a 20-degree temperature rise. It's about 50 degrees outside right now. When it's really cold out, it runs pretty much constant, but it keeps it bearable in here to be able to work. Probably like 50-ish or so. So if you're thinking about getting a heater for your garage, these Modine hanging units, man, they are the way to go. That's all I got to say about that. So let's review. You have a transformer up there on the heater, and it sends 24 volts out, and it goes lots of different places. Primarily, you're concerned with the thermostat. Goes to the thermostat, comes back from the thermostat, and goes lots of places. It goes into the bottom of this fan delay switch. It goes through the pressure switch, which is the little pancake disc on the back of it with the hose connected up to the blower motor. And then it goes through this limit right here. So it's pretty easy to track that 24 volts through the unit, see where maybe you're losing it, and then you'll be able to figure out where your problem is. Now, sometimes things still work. You know, it would eventually turn the blower on, but it should be a lot faster than it was. And if I wouldn't have had this bypassed, that probably would have cut it off before it ever got hot enough to actually come on, meaning this getting hot enough. It was just really, really sluggish. So putting those couple of new parts in it, it's good as new now. It burns nice, keeps the garage warm, and that's all we're really after, right? Hopefully this helps some people out. The last video is done really quite well. Yeah. Don't forget to enter the giveaway. It's in the description. $50, just in time for Christmas. Yeah. That'll about do it for this episode. If it helped you out, make sure you leave a like. Think about subscribing. I'd appreciate it. If you have a question, don't hesitate to ask in the comments. I read every one and I reply to them and give as much help as I can. Hopefully, it helps you too. Thanks for watching another episode of My Legacy Garage. We'll see you next time. Y'all want a little bonus C10 footage? Stole the battery and coil wire back off of the old green truck there and put it back on this one. We're going to light it off, make sure everything still works. I just changed the thermostat because it was running a little warm to suit me, so I want to make sure everything's straight before, you know, it gets sold. Boo. Let's fire it up. Now this thing hadn't been run for, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. I'm not sure what all that nonsense was about, but it cleared up. It runs fine now, so take a look.